Welcome to Alaska Weather, a production of Alaska Public Media and the National Weather Service, Alaska Region. Produced and broadcast daily from the studios of KAKM, Alaska Weather provides complete forecasts, public, marine, and aviation for all of Alaska. Alaska Weather is made possible by the following sponsors.
Alyeska Pipeline Service Company, fueling philanthropic programs and dedicated to creating educational and professional opportunities for Alaska Native people.
The National Weather Service.
Hello everyone, and thanks so much for joining us for this Saturday's edition of Alaska Weather. I'm Dave Percy. Up on satellite, not a lot going on anywhere around the state today. Just basically high pressure, cold high pressure continues to dominate all of interior Alaska, Arctic coast, all the way down in the Gulf of Alaska, Alaska Peninsula. One band of clouds right through here, a few snow showers or flurries there over the Pribilof Islands. Another mass of low-level moisture you can see dropping southward and now actually starting to pull offshore. That had some areas of flurries with it as well, lower flying conditions, and that basically just affecting Nunivak Island today. But again, a lot of sunshine, clear skies, Bristol Bay, up across Kodiak, Alaska, on into the interior, and some clouds here over the eastern areas. You can see some kind of sneaking in from Canada up there around Eagle, and southward still seeing a little bit of flurry conditions there. Light snow around Northway, nothing significant, and some snow showers developing as an area of moisture begins to enhance here over the Gulf of Alaska. Narrow band of showers right through there, and possibly scattered around the northern panhandle. A little more extensive, but nothing too serious or widespread rain or snow showers down over the southern southeast coast. Due to this upper system here, you can see starting to spread a little bit of that up into the area there. Otherwise, some clearing as well across that area. And then farther out to the west, a very weak front pushing in across Nikolsky. Maybe some areas of light rain with that extending back to the northwest with conditions breaking out there. Some sun around Adak and Atka, and then some showers just off to the southwest of Shemya with the main low center. And rolling that on again, still strong high pressure here out over the Bering Sea, especially centered to the north, over the north slope. And that's why it's white there. That's indicating cold temperatures and not cloudiness. But there are some bands of moisture, one right up through here, that are trying to work their way eastward there with the main wind flow. But high pressure doing a pretty good job of holding it off, at least for now, with that 1022 center just west of the Bering Strait. And just off the Arctic coast, light winds all through the interior down into south central Alaska. Again, that area of light snow for the southwest coast, a couple of showers around the Pribilofs, and a narrow area of light rain or precipitation here from the eastern Aleutians, and that again is lifted north of the central and western areas. And Gulf of Alaska, a weak low here, just some scattered snow showers for now, mostly cloudy skies, and I mentioned up here around the Cape Yakataga area, and then also down there over the southeast coast. Flurries up to the north, otherwise not a lot going on, no change really, no big changes occurring here over the last several days. And then for tonight, this low pressure area, upper trough dropping into the Gulf, that's going to continue to enhance the moisture field out there, and it looks like snow showers will be on the increase along with the clouds. Later tonight, look for an increase in the clouds, Cook Inlet, but snow coming westward across Prince William Sound, southern Kenai Peninsula, into Portage, or into Whittier, maybe Portage, and looks like that's about it. Definitely stopping at the Chugach Mountains. Otherwise, variable clouds to the north, still some flurries there over the eastern Tanana Valley, Nabezna on up to Tok, and then maybe some clouds for Eagle. Otherwise, no change, clear and cold again, well below zero, north slope Arctic coast, southward across the western interior, light offshore flow keeps conditions VFR all through this region here, maybe even up under the high center. Still some moisture back to the west there, kind of trapped, higher pressure keeping that back and directing it to the northeast for now. And just some lingering chances of snow showers here, mostly over east there toward Hyder and Stewart, with some variable clouds, light winds for the remainder of the southeast coast. So this band staying off the coast there. And still this very weak front, probably should have drawn it in as a trough. Chance of rain continues, eastern allusions, but winds will be light. And continue with the easterly winds, but not very strong here for the Perblofs up to about St. Matthew Island. And then another front pushing eastward here late tonight, early tomorrow, maybe bringing a chance of rain or snow into the Shimiat 2 area and possibly increasing the winds as well. But not much going on tonight except this growing area of moisture and snow showers out over the Gulf of Alaska, pushing up toward the North Gulf Coast. So for tomorrow, low pressure kind of backs in toward the Kenai Peninsula, and the easterly flow there will continue to bring clouds, probably light snow, occasional light snow or showers in across Prince William Sound, mostly to the south of Valdez, but directing it right into Passage Canal and then to Portage and to a certain extent possibly turning an arm. And so it looks like it could be kind of a snowy drive down the Seward Highway to Seward tomorrow. More clouds, Cook Inlet, mostly cloudy eastern interior. No change back out here to the west. High pressure holding there near St. Lawrence Island for light variable winds over the northern Bering Sea. And again, sunshine, but temperature's still cold. Maybe a few clouds there for the Tanana Valley, possibly the eastern Arctic coast. And then this system finally working some light snow or flurries southeastward, but only affecting Point Hope, Cape Lisburne, probably not reaching Point Lay. Otherwise pretty nice, VFR off to the east, and not a lot of change out over the Bering Sea either. Still have this what's left of that frontal boundary there, just a few scattered showers back to the northwest, a real non-factor, and then a little bit more action. Only looking at small craft advisory winds with that and some occasional light rain, but staying out there to the west, because on Monday you'll see that low center still off the chart there, just barely making it on. Westerly flow pushes the southern part of the front eastward there, so kind of elongating it and weakening it, and a chance of occasional rain from Atka again on out to Shimia, but lifting northward, so changing to showers during the afternoon. And again, no gales at all, even lighter winds in store for the eastern Bering Sea here with the high pressure over the Bering Strait holding, ridging southward. Look for mostly sunny skies, Bristol Bay, the Alaska Peninsula, on out to Dutch Harbor and Nikolsky. Northward here along the southwest coast. Variable clouds, looking at more cloudiness here over interior Alaska and probably what we've seen the last couple of days on Monday or tomorrow, with kind of some moisture backing in from the east there. So mostly cloudy, areas of light snow or flurries here from the Alaska Range across the Tanana Valley, possibly up to the southern Yukon Flats. And then a disturbance dropping southeastward here, that same one, kind of just dragging a weak trailing edge of a trough across the central Arctic coast for probably some light snow or flurries from Atasuk onto the east. Some of that may work down into the north slope across Umiat Airfield, but nothing significant. Again, mostly sunny to the west and southwest, dry to the east. Winds continue light all across this area. Light winds to the southeast coast. On Monday, we have a trough extending northward there. Temperature's cold enough, so whatever precipitation falls will be in the form of snow all the way down to sea level. Again, maybe a little mixture here toward the central panhandle, toward Port Alexander, on up to, say, Skagway, or not Skagway, Petersburg. And to the south of that, maybe some sunshine in the afternoon for Ketchikan, Metlakatla, and those areas. Otherwise, no big changes. Fair conditions continue. Kodiak Island, Cook Inlet, all of the western interior. Temperatures across the panhandle today, all in the 30s to near 40, with 39 Klawock, 30 degrees in Juneau, Yakutat 34, 24 over at Let's Whittier, and 20 degrees, pushing up to 20 there at Kenai, 25 Homer, just 19 at Palmer, 22 Talkeetna, 9 above zero this afternoon for Gulkana, 8 above at Fairbanks. Some of the numbers across much of the eastern interior, all the way north, higher elevation, Anatuvik at -6, and then north of the Brooks Range there, down to the 15 to 20 below range along the central and eastern coast. A shade above, rising to 8 degrees above zero there at Cape Lisburne, and then back down to 8 below Kivalina, 4 above Nome, 8 at McGrath. And let's see, we've got 12 degrees Unalakleet, 13 Amonic, and 6 degrees down at Bethel, 11 Savunga, and 14 at Macoriac. Much milder off to the southwest, though, with St. Paul at 28. And then lower to mid-40s here over the central Aleutians with Atka at 46, 43 at Adak, and then dropping down to 39 at Shemya, 37 on Alaska, lower 30s Alaska Peninsula, into the teens with just 11 at King Salmon, 31 at Kodiak. Lows for tonight dropping another at least 10 degrees from that at the state airport there for Kodiak, and below zero, King Salmon, Bristol Bay, farther below zero up the Kuskokwim Valley, 20 to 30, maybe 35 below. That'd most likely be up there on the North Slope with quite cold temperatures again. Staying above zero for St. Lawrence Island, the 0 degree isotherm right out along the coastline there, one above at Macoriac, 23 for the Pribilofs, and teens and 20s, and mostly 20s for the southeast coast, mildest south, of course, mid-20s here for the North Gulf Coast with the increasing moisture and cloud cover, so really not cooling off that much from what you have this afternoon. Otherwise, Cook Inlet, Susitna Valley, back down to maybe around zero. And then for the highs tomorrow, back into the mid to upper 20s, southern Alaska, teens, Tanana Valley, Fort Yukon area to the Koyukuk Valley, on out across the Seward Peninsula, anywhere from 5 to 10, and staying below zero from the Brooks Range on out to the Arctic coast, except nudging above zero there on the west side. Temperatures into the lower 40s along the coast there of the Panhandle, otherwise in the 30s, and lower 40s again for the Aleutians. Flying weather for tomorrow morning, a growing area IFR here over the Gulf of Alaska with marginal conditions working up to the coastline, spreading into Prince William Sound during the night tonight by early tomorrow morning, and quite an area IFR out here over the Bering Sea, and then this stuff up here trying to nudge its way onto the western Arctic coast. And we'll see by tomorrow afternoon it pushes eastward a little bit there with IFR in the forecast from Point Lay on down to Point Hope. Otherwise, VFR, eastern Bering Sea, big area IFR out, mostly affecting the central Aleutians. IFR here from about the greater Cordova area eastward across Glacier Bay, Lynn Canal, and then down along the border with marginal stuff to the west. Passes really haven't changed that much from yesterday with Anatuvik and Adigan staying VFR. Another good VFR day for the Lake Clark, Rainy, Merrill, and windy passes with Isabel looking VFR. And Mentasta, no change. Chanita, another VFR day, but Portage, marginal VFR, could be IFR at times here on the eastern entrance, depending on how much moisture works in. And then for Chilkoot and White, could start out VFR, but look for conditions to deteriorate throughout the day as some moisture rolls on up from the south. Freezing levels at the surface here, right along the southern southeast coast, a little above there for Prince of Wales Island, south of Cordova, well south of Kodiak, and then back to the Alaska Peninsula, and warmer air out here, southerly, southeasterly flow. Not all that warm, but 2,000 feet up over the western Aleutians. Icing, really none significant to talk about. So on to the jet stream, 33,000 foot wind flow chart. Still high pressure holding out here over the Bering Sea. Westerly flow coming around the top of that, but cold trough here just north of Prince William Sound, more or less, but extending southward there to just east of Kodiak Island. Southwest flow into the southeast coast at about 70 knots. And for 9,000 feet, southeast 25, increasing to 35 knots out towards Shemya, 15 to 20 knot easterlies for the Bering Sea, and a band of colder air coming southward, being pushed southward on these winds out of the north, 25 to maybe 30 knots here from the west central interior down across the Aleutian Range, sweeping around Kodiak Island as well as the Barrens into Kamishak Bay. And then easterlies at about 30 knots on the north side of that low center. That's going to be pulling that moisture up and westward later tonight and through the day tomorrow. South 25 there right across Sitka. And for 3,000 feet, same pattern, winds lighter though, very light over the southern panhandle, just 10 to 15 to the north. Southeast 25, North Gulf Coast. And then a band of northerlies here, 20 to 25, maybe as high as 30 knots blowing across the Aleutian range there. Same thing for Kodiak, lighter to the west, to the north, light winds over the Arctic coast. Strongest winds out there to the west, 20 to 40 knots, mostly out to Shemya toward the Komodorskis. And so turbulence-wise, still some mechanical stuff here over the southwest interior, those northerly winds coming south and then southeast, Kodiak Island, northeast Bristol Bay, and possibly again up here over the northeast interior areas south of the Brooks Range. And after the break, I'll be back with a look at the marine forecasts. Welcome back to another edition of Alaska Weather Facts. I'm Dave Snider, and joining me again is Cindy Preller. She's the Tsunami Program Manager for Alaska Region's National Weather Service. Thanks again for joining us, Cindy.
Thanks for having me back, Dave.
Sure thing. And I love saying Tsunami Program Manager for Alaska's National Weather Service because that's not weather. Why is the Tsunami Program part of the National Weather Service?
Well, it's because the Weather Service absolutely rocks at warning people for every kind of, devastating natural hazard.
The mission of the Weather Service is to protect life and property. And so how does the Tsunami Warning Center in Palmer, Alaska, which is a very unique office, again, within the Weather Service, it's not weather, how do those folks help us protect life and property?
The National Tsunami Warning Center in Palmer is a national warning center, and we analyze seismic traces 24/7 all around the world. So when there's an earthquake anywhere on the planet, we see it and analyze it within minutes.
Within minutes, and
Within
there's
minutes.
actually a goal to have it under, was it 5 minutes?
If there is a tsunami warning to be issued for continental America, we must get that out, or shoot to get that out in 5 minutes.
Okay. Now that's not something I have ever learned to do, so I know it would be a struggle for me to do that under probably hours, but it is fascinating to watch, and the office is open on a regular basis for tours, right?
Absolutely, come by Friday.
Okay.
Yep, every Friday at 1, 2, and 3 p.m. and they're open public free tours. And it's the most interesting place on the planet. You really should check it out.
Okay, and the office team is made up of people that are earth scientists, not meteorologists or atmospheric scientists. Talk about some of the types of people that work there.
Right, we are out of place in our National Weather Service, but we are geologists, geophysicists, oceanographers. We even have an astrophysicist on board, computer software architects, electronic technicians that are brilliant and innovative. Our software is all written in-house. Our instrumentation is designed in-house. So it's a really, really unique place, and it's just a couple handfuls of people that work there. So
sure.
Yeah.
One of my favorite ways to get a tsunami alert message is on Twitter.
Right.
And I can follow the Twitter address, and we'll put that up on the screen for you there. But it's usually a very quick message that tells you initially what the magnitude of an earthquake could be and about where its epicenter was. What are some of the other ways that you can get that alert message?
Well, Twitter's my favorite too.
Yeah.
And you don't even need a Twitter account to receive it. So
That's
it just comes in like an SMS message. But you can also receive it via email, weather radio, of course, the crawler on your television screen, on the internet, Google Alerts.
Right.
Marine radio if you're out in harbors and boats. Actually, marine radio is probably,
yeah, it is a good one.
That's our partnership with the Coast Guard. We're really grateful for that, absolutely. But there's a variety of ways in dissemination.
Okay.
And locally, excuse me, I'm sorry, but locally in the communities, the sirens will go off as well.
Right. So lots of different ways to get that very important message very quickly when that matters to you. One of the ways that the Warning Center practices with communities is a test on a yearly basis, right?
Right.
How does that work?
Thanks for bringing that up. It's a controversial issue, but it's super important to help us warn better and really serve Alaskans. So the week of March 27th, the commemoration of the 1964 event, for that week we have a Tsunami Preparedness Week every year. We like communities to get out and do drills and practice and do everything we can to raise awareness. And part of that is a live code test where we actually issue the warning message live and we activate the emergency alert system, which means sirens go off, the TV crawler happens, and it's a test.
We're doing everything that would normally happen without the real threat of the tsunami, just to practice as much as possible.
Right, and this is a major partnership with the State of Alaska, Department of Homeland Security and Emergency Management, the Emergency Operations Center, and the Alaska Broadcasters Association. Without the media, we wouldn't be able to do this. So the three groups really work tightly together to do our best to warn, educate the public that this is happening so they don't wonder and get scared about it. It has been remarkable what we've learned. I mean, It pretty much breaks somewhere every time,
Sure.
but then we fix it and it gets better. So a quick example is just a few years ago, we used to, when we issued a message, it would activate the entire state.
Right.
Right? I mean, Kotzebue, Nome, Bethel, everybody would be in tsunami warning. And so now we can regionalize it to where the actual event is taking place.
Right.
That's pretty huge.
Right, right. So identifying points of failure and also points of success and making sure we continue down that successful path so that folks are warned as quickly and accurately as possible.
Absolutely. And, you know, to get our communities involved to prep themselves, prep their businesses, prep their tourism, prep their schools, you know, just make this an annual thing they need to be doing.
Right. So as citizens wanting to be prepared, we should be prepared to learn more about that test that's happening usually toward the end of March every year.
Right, and you should be happy that it's happening.
Right.
Instead of upset. Definitely be happy that it's happening.
Right. Just as we test tornado sirens in tornado country, we also have to test the tsunami program as well.
Right, because there isn't enough time. You know, for a local tsunami, the wave will arrive in less than 2 minutes. So it's super important that people know what to do.
Very good. Well, Cindy, thank you so much for helping us know more about the Tsunami Ready program and the test. And the Tsunami Warning Center is a very unique and very important job in the National Weather Service that is just fascinating to me every time I visit the office. So
It's the only one for the continent. You really should come check it out.
it's an international effort.
Yes.
Wonderful stuff. Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you, Dave.
And thanks for joining us for another edition of Alaska Weather Facts. I'm Dave Snider. We'll see you next time.
Back south, 25 knots here on the southern southeast coast, and to the north, more southeasterly, so pretty uniform winds here except for the direction, but 25 knots in the forecast. Same thing over the inside waters, southeasterlies 25 knots, Frederick Sound, Stevens Passage, on down across Clarence Strait, northern Link Canal looking at northerlies at about 20. And then for Monday, swinging around to the southwest and dropping off to 15 to 20 knots. Seas 7 feet, so no small craft advisories here along the central or north coast, but there are due to those 8-foot seas down the extreme south coast. Otherwise, Clarence Strait southeast to 24-foot seas, and light southeast winds continue Stevens Passage on up into Link Canal and Glacier Bay. And for Prince William Sound tomorrow, northeast 15 knots, and that extends right down across the western Arctic coast, and then going southeast of 15 there for the east side. Small craft advisories for the Barren Islands, northwest 25, probably some higher gusts, lighter though along the east side of Kodiak Island, northwest 20 Kamishak Bay, Cook Inlet north at 15. And then for Monday, light northerlies, barely a breeze at all for Cook Inlet, same thing for Prince William Sound, and east 15 here for the eastern Gulf Coast, turning north on the west side. Northwesterlies here, 20 knots for the Barrens, but small craft advisories for Kamishak Bay coming up to 25 knots there. Otherwise, quite light for Shelikof Strait, northwest winds 20 here along the east side of Kodiak. Out toward Bristol Bay, north at 10 tomorrow, then northeasterlies 10 to 15 along the Alaska Peninsula. 7-foot seas on the Pacific side, but low enough so there's not even small craft advisories out all the way up to Sitkinak. And then for Monday, not much change. Wind staying light and seas not too bad, just 3 feet here with a 15-knot breeze out of the northeast for the Bering Sea side of the peninsula. Even lighter on the Pacific side, and then from Castle Cape to Sitkinak, north at about 20. For the Aleutians, east side there, southeast 15, seas 6 to 10 feet, and then small craft advisories with maybe small crafts here for the central Aleutians, 8 to maybe 14-foot seas, and that extends on out to the west there, especially towards Shimia. And then for Monday, small craft advisories hold here, 25-knot winds, pretty uniform, southeasterlies 25, Atka all the way out to Shimia, and seas running 7 to 11 feet. And then for the eastern Aleutians, things becoming a little more easterly at 15 to 20, especially for Unalaska Island. Up along the southwest coast, northeast, light northeast flow here, high pressure right over St. Lawrence Island. So light variable to no wind at all for that area, and just a light offshore breeze here along the coast, picking up to about 20 knots in a more easterly direction for the Perlofs, and then back down to 15 for St. Matthew Island. Outlook for Monday, not a lot of change, light variable winds here. Nunivak Island, maybe north at St. Lawrence Island there, across that area, or it could stay variable. But east winds coming up to 20 knots for St. Matthew Island marine zone, especially from the island westward, and just 15 for for the Perlofs. Up along the Arctic coast, east side there, really no wind at all. Turning southerly here for the central coast, but really not that strong. And then a light southwest breeze here on the west side that extends all the way down across the southeast Chukchi Sea to the Bering Strait. And then for Monday, still light winds, maybe a little more northwest here. Then picking it up to about 15 for the west side of the central coast and coming down to 10 knots along the eastern Beaufort Sea coastline and then back up to 15 from the west as you head toward Demarcation Point. And for tonight, again, a lot of fair conditions, very cold temperatures, again dropping down maybe 30, 35 below here, mostly over the north slope, but quite cold, well below zero all the way south to northeast Bristol Bay. Otherwise, look for clouds and chance of snow to increase here. Prince William Sound due to this low in the Gulf of Alaska, generating a trough, a little more lift, so maybe to Yakutat westward. Could see some snow going on tomorrow, increasing across Prince William Sound late tonight. Otherwise, not much going on over the panhandle there, as well as with this front weakening quite a bit here over the Fox Islands, and then a little bit stronger system working in toward the western Aleutians, which will impact that area, and that's about it with some rain and small craft advisory winds. Otherwise, maybe a few showers here for the central Aleutians. This really not even worth mentioning. High pressure holds, keeping it dry and cold from the southwest coast all the way up to the Arctic coast, but allowing this thing to sneak on in with a little bit of cloudiness and possible IFR along with some flurries, and then same pattern there, North Gulf Coast, chance of showers or chance of snow. Showers here for the panhandle of a mixed variety with that trough swinging in, and then less of that on Monday, kind of reorienting up here to the north, drying out to the south. Flurries over the interior.
These forecasts are to be used for planning purposes only. Call 1-800-WX-BRIEF for a formal pre-flight briefing. Always file a flight plan before you go flying. The U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary urges you to leave a float plan with a friend or the harbor master before you go boating. Alaska Weather is made possible by the following sponsors.
The National Weather Service.